Business owners, what if Alex Hormozi could build a $100 million offer for you? What would that do to your business? Because he's worth close to $1 billion and literally wrote the book on how to create offers that are so good, people feel stupid saying no. But the problem is that Alex charges $50,000 for one phone call and has 2,000 business owners per day reaching out to him. So good luck getting him to help you build your offer. So instead, I studied his $100 million offers book that has sold more than 500,000 copies, his $100 million summary and workbook, which he's only just released on Amazon, his $100 million audiobook, and his 3-hour online course with 10 modules, and every single podcast or YouTube video he's put out on how to create Grand Slam offers. And summarized all of that into this one simple, easy to follow, high production video, which literally took me 3 months and 120 hours to create, shoot, and edit. Because while most people have heard about Alex's famous value equation, that's only one of 9 components to creating what he calls a Grand Slam offer. And today, I'm going to share every single one of these 9 components with you so that all you have to do is watch this video from start to finish, and you'll know everything you need to create your own Grand Slam offer for your business, no matter what you sell or what industry you're in. And real quick, if you don't know me, my name is Jordan Rafaelov. I'm the CEO of a marketing agency called Dopamine Digital. We partner with B2B SaaS companies and help them increase their monthly recurring revenue by at least $100,000 a month so they can increase their enterprise value and exit for millions. And I have used this exact 9-component Grand Slam offer framework to rebuild a client's offer from the ground up and create a marketing funnel which resulted in a 400% increase in revenue and enterprise value, as well as one of the best performing ads currently on YouTube that you may have seen, which has over 17 million views and counting. So turn off distractions, put your phone in do not disturb mode, lock in. This will be the single most impactful video you will ever watch to grow your business. Alex's principles have revolutionized my life, and I know that they can do the same for you and your business. But first, what is an offer? And why should you care? Because most of the time when a client comes to me asking for my help, wondering why no one cares about their product, why they aren't selling more, they can't become profitable, or why they can't scale past a certain point, the thing that is broken 99% of the time isn't the funnel. It's not the ads, it's not the copy, the angle, the targeting, the VSL. It's always the offer. Always the offer. Everything begins with the offer, because fundamentally the only way to conduct business is through a value exchange, a trade of dollars for value. And the offer is what initiates this trade. And since the offer is what attracts new customers, it is the lifeblood of your business. And if you don't have enough clients or not enough profits, creating a Grand Slam offer will solve both of those problems by helping you get more leads, more sales at a higher price with more profits. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and that's why you always start with the offer. Because if you have a weak offer, no amount of marketing or sales will save you. It'll just be like putting lipstick on a pig. And here's the best part. You don't even need to change what you're selling. You just need to change how you're presenting what you're selling, or how your prospect perceives the value in your product or service. And we do that by creating a Grand Slam offer. Offer component number 1, find a starving crowd. A Grand Slam offer presented to the wrong audience will fall on deaf ears. But if you get the market right, you can get everything else wrong and still make money. So let's learn about how to pick the right market. And here are some questions you can ask yourself to find the right market. First, are they in pain? Do they have a bleeding neck problem? Are they experiencing hell every day? Then, secondly, do they have the money to pay for your solution? Don't try and sell something to broke people. They can't afford to buy it. Number 3, are they easy to target? Can you find them easily online? You might have the perfect market, but if you have no easy way to reach them or advertise to them, how can you sell them anything? And 4th and finally, is the market actually growing? Because you don't want to waste your time building this Grand Slam offer if the market is, let's say, magazines or a newspaper, or it just won't be here in a few years' time. You're fighting an uphill battle. Now, let me share the power of a starving market with you that we've all experienced. So, in the pandemic frenzy, when toilet paper was selling for $100, or if you're the only hot dog stand outside of a club once it closes at 2 a.m., do you really think it matters how good your product is or how much it costs? If you have a starving crowd, a starving market, you can get everything else wrong and still make a fortune. So think about it like this, in order of importance: a starving crowd, the offer strength, and then lastly, your persuasion skills. So how do we find a starving crowd, a starving market? Look, there are 3 main markets where you'll always find a starving crowd, and they're more or less evergreen. You've got health, wealth, and relationships. So everything exists in one of those 3 buckets. And in each of those buckets exists a sub-market. You need to pick one, commit, and niche down. So what you want to do is think something like, I help very specific person solve a very specific problem in a unique way that reverses their biggest objection. And to give you an example of how powerful this actually is, Dan Kennedy shares a famous example about niching down and picking a market. Let's say you had a time management course. Just by changing the target niche and messaging, you can charge significantly more for the same product without changing the product. So as an example, a time management course, you could charge $19 for it. A time management for sales professionals course, you could charge $99 for. A time management course for outbound B2B sales, you could charge $499 for. And finally, a time management course for outbound B2B power tools and gardening sales reps, you could charge $1,997 for. Same product, 100 times the price. And that's the magic of niching down and picking your target market. Because the goal of great writing is for the reader to understand, right? But the goal of great copy is for the prospect to feel understood. And if your messaging is generalized and made for everyone, your prospect will never feel like you're talking directly to them. And ultimately, selling is just making the prospect feel like you understand their problem better than they understand it themselves. So if you can articulate that you understand their problem better than they understand it, they will just automatically assume that you have the solution and it's made specifically for them, which justifies the higher price point. Offer component number 2, charge what it's worth. Premium pricing. The second reason your offer may not be working is that you aren't charging what it's worth. Because you need to understand that people buy something based on value. They believe the value they are getting is higher than the price they are paying. And if the price is higher than the perceived value, they won't buy. But if you're selling a Lambo for $1,000, it's very easy to sell, right? So there are only 2 levers that you can pull here. Either you change the price to meet the value, or you change the value to meet or exceed the price. So you can lower your price, which leads to a spiral down to the bottom and bankruptcy, plus you can only go to 0, or you can increase the value, or at least the perceived value, which is what you always should be trying to do. The goal should be to get them to buy a ridiculous amount of value at a discount. So how much should you charge? As a general rule of thumb, the highest number that you can say out loud without cracking a smile. In other words, premium pricing. Well, why? Premium prices are the only way to make egregious amounts of money And if you break down the unit economics of a cheap widget versus a premium priced widget, the premium priced widget will win every single time. And more importantly, price in and of itself is a communication of value. And if you don't believe me, there's a famous study where people were given different bottles of wine at different price points: cheap, average, and expensive. Not surprisingly, they rated the most expensive wine the most tasty wine with the most tannins and the most blah or whatever. However, what they didn't know was that it was all the exact same wine. And people assume the more premium the pricing, the better the product or service is, and they value it more. So how many of you have free courses or free PDFs sitting in your inbox that you've downloaded for free but never opened? What if you spent $10,000 on that course? Would you take action? Probably, right? So it's actually ethical to charge a premium price for your product or service because your customer gets more value from it. And to further illustrate this, in the book Influence, Cialdini talks about a jewelry store that couldn't sell its turquoise necklaces, but they sold out overnight because a worker accidentally doubled the price. So it's important to remember that price is a component of value, and Hormozi suggests that the goal should be to be priced so high a customer pauses and thinks to themselves, this can't be the same category of solution that everyone else is offering. It must be something completely different. Therefore, helping you put yourself in a category of one, which is why the first component to creating value is to charge premium pricing, increasing the value. But you can't just 10x your pricing and expect that to solve all your problems, especially if your product is garbage. In most cases, the value that you're offering is not worth the premium prices that you should be charging. And here's the thing, a Grand Slam offer is an offer that cannot be compared to anything else in the market, which forces your prospect to judge the offer based on value instead of price. It's not just a premium price. It's a combination of an attractive promotion, an unmatched value proposition, a premium price, an unbeatable guarantee, and a money model that allows you to get paid to get new customers. So that removes the cash constraint around growing the business. And because it cannot be compared and priced to anything else, they either have the choice between your offer and nothing, which means you can sell it at whatever price you want. And because no one sells what you offer, your prospects have to choose you. So here's a quick real-life example that Alex shares from inside of the book. So we have the old commoditized way, which is price-driven, and it's $1,000 down, then $1,000 a month retainer for agency services. And here's the advertising spend. You can see $10,000 they spent on advertising. They reached 300,000 people. They got 0.00013 response rate. They booked 40 appointments, 75% showed up, which was 30 appointments. They closed 16%, 30 appointments showed up, and from those 30 appointments, they only closed 5 for $1,000 each, which means they collected $5,000 upfront, which was a measly 0.5 to 1 return on investment. So you can see that you actually lose money acquiring the customer, but in 30 days, the customer will pay again and you'll break even. What a terrible business model. And this is most agencies out there. There's a million of them. They all look the same and they all offer the same generic commoditized offer. So Alex changes the offer into a Grand Slam offer and differentiates it based on value instead of price. So this is his Grand Slam offer. Pay one time, no recurring fee, no retainer, just cover ad spend. I'll generate and work the leads for you, and you only pay me if people show up. And I'll guarantee 20 people in your first month, or you'll get your next month for free. I'll also give you daily sales coaching for your staff, proven sales scripts, tested price points and offers to swipe and deploy, sales recordings, and everything else you need to fulfill your customers in an easy to follow playbook. 100% free just for becoming a client. And these were the results. So the ad spend was the same, 10,000, 10,000. Impressions reached, 300,000, 300,000. Those didn't change. But the response rate was 2.5 times more because it's more appealing, so more people responded. The amount of appointments booked went from 40 to 100, more than double. The show-up rate stayed the same. Now, the closing rate 2.3x'd. There was more value, so more people purchased. And the result was that instead of 5 appointments closed, they closed 28 appointments. And here's the crazy part. They closed them at 4 times the price point, which means that they collected 22.4 times the cash up front. And they went from a 0.5 to 1 ROAS to a 11.2 to 1 ROAS. How crazy is that? That's how you get paid to get new customers. So he didn't just charge 4 times the price and stop there. Don't get me wrong. He completely reframed the offer so that it became incomparable to anything else in the market, going from a commoditized offer to selling in a category of one. He did this by increasing the perceived value of the offer by adding in bonuses, guarantees, which I'll cover in the video later in detail. But if you look closely, he didn't even change the core deliverables. He just changed the way he presented it. It's still a lead generation agency service, but framed in such a way that the prospect would feel stupid saying no. But you can see the ROAS went from 0.5 all the way up to 11.2, where every dollar he put into the ad campaign resulted in $11.20 back. And he was able to raise $112,000 in upfront cash instead of just $5,000 and barely breaking even. That's a 22.4 times increase. And these are real life examples pulled from the book that Alex put in there from his company, Ellen. These are not made up numbers. These are pulled straight from his ad manager. So imagine what they would do for your business if you could collect 22.4 times the amount of cash up front. You could hire the best team, give your customers the best support, and help them get crazy results. Now, can you see the power of charging what it's worth when creating a Grand Slam offer? Offer component number 3. The value equation. The thing that Hormozi is most famous for, other than his wife beaters, glorious beard, and monster calves, is the value equation, which is just how to create perceived value in the mind of your prospect, or creating value out of thin air. Now, I say perceived value because no matter how good your product or service is, unless your prospect understands it, they won't buy it. And oftentimes, instead of changing objective reality, you can change perceived reality and get a better outcome for a far cheaper price. Now, one of my favorite examples of this is told by Rory Sutherland, the VP of Ogilvy, who shares a famous story about Eurostar Railway, where they spent $6 billion to make a train journey 45 minutes faster. However, that's changing objective reality. They never considered changing perceived reality and making the ride more enjoyable with free Wi-Fi, for example. He jokes that you could have even used just $1 billion to hire all the world's supermodels to hand out free champagne, and people would have asked for the trains to be slowed down. Now, it's the same thing with elevators. Instead of making the elevators literally faster, they put mirrors inside to keep you distracted, fixing your hair so the time in the elevator just feels shorter. So remember, we don't always need to find the most logical, objective way to increase value. Sometimes we merely need to increase the psychological perceived value. And here's how we do it. So what does the value equation look like? You have dream outcome times by likelihood of achievement divided by time delay times effort and sacrifice. All of this equals value or perceived value. First, dream outcome. What is the ultimate desire your prospect wants to achieve? What problem do they want solved, and make sure it's meaningful to them. This doesn't need to be life-changing or world-changing, it just needs to be meaningful to the person that you're selling it to, and solve a unique problem better than anyone else. What do they want to do, have, become by experiencing your product or your service? Then, perceived likelihood of achievement. Do they think they are likely to succeed? In other words, what perceived risks are there? Because people are incredibly skeptical these days, and they all think they are a unique snowflake, and their situation is different, and they'll come up with 100 different reasons why they cannot achieve the desired results. But if I can show you 100 people that are exactly like you, with the exact same problems that you had, and by working with me, they solved that problem forever in just 30 days, how likely are you to think that I can help you also? So these two things we want to increase, and below the line we want to decrease with our offer. So underneath that line is time delay. How long will it take them to see the final result and an initial result? Think about the value in saying, as soon as you sign up for my agency, you'll have an extra 30 grand in profit a month immediately, versus it'll take us 6 months to get there. There's a big difference in the value. Same as paying 10K for liposuction and waking up in 6 hours skinny, versus paying $99 a month for a membership to a gym and work hard for 12 months to be skinny. Big difference in the time. Alex suggests that one of the easiest ways to crush the competition is to find out what they're doing and go in and do it in half the time. And if there's something that will take a while to get them a result, how can we find a way to get them a small win fast first? Then the next part of the value equation below the line that we want to reduce, remember, is effort and sacrifice. What are the additional costs or hidden costs they have to pay in order to solve their problems? How many steps do they have to take? What uncomfortable, painful things do they need to do to get the desired outcome? The lower you can make the effort and sacrifice, the more valuable it will seem. Again, think about the liposuction example. Go to sleep, wake up skinny. Do nothing, achieve the dream outcome equals a lot more valuable than having to work hard for 12 months every day. It's the reason why Prozac is a $3 billion a year industry and meditation apps charge $50 a year. So if we look at the equation here again, with dream outcome and perceived likelihood of achievement on the top, time delay and effort and sacrifice on the bottom. The real magic as a business owner comes from decreasing the bottom part of this equation. Most people will focus on this top part, increasing it as much as they can, with testimonials or making the dream outcome more clever, etc. Right? However, what you'll notice is that the most massive businesses like Amazon, Netflix, McDonald's all focus on getting the bottom part of this equation to zero. So these four factors make up perceived value, and the higher the value or perceived value, the higher a price you can charge. And you should use all these pieces of the value equation to craft your own offer. So in the next part of this video, I will run through exactly how to put all these pieces together to create your Grand Slam offer. Offer component number 4, creating your offer. How do you put all the pieces of the value equation together to create your first part of your Grand Slam offer? And this is the part of the video where you need a pen and paper. So I'll walk you through how Alex Hormozi himself would help you create your own $100 million offer if he was standing over your shoulder. Make sure you have your market and your niche picked and defined. Remember, ask yourself, are they in pain? Then, do they have the money to pay for your solution? Are they easy to target? Can you find them easily? And finally, is the market growing? After that, you need to figure out what your target market actually want. Now, a pro tip here is ask them. Reach out to them and actually ask them. Pick up the phone and call them. Go to events and meet them. You'd be amazed what you can learn about your prospects if you just ask them and let them tell you. Crazy, I know. Assuming you've done that, Hormozi suggests the next 3 steps to building out your Grand Slam offer are: first, identify their dream outcome. List out all the perceived problems your prospect might have in their minds, stopping them from achieving that dream outcome. Ask yourself, what is every single little tiny intricate step they have to go through in order to have success with your product or service, and write them down. And finally, turn all of those problems into solutions in your messaging. Hormozi uses weight loss as an example because it's simple and everyone tends to understand it, but you can do this with any dream outcome. So let's say the dream outcome was lose 20 pounds and get in the best shape of your life. All the intricate steps you would have to go through would be, first, you got to go to the grocery store, got to go grocery shopping, pack and unpack the food, cook the food, meal prep, eat the food, clean the food, the dishes. Then you might have to feed some family something different, right? Then what happens when you go out for dinner? Are you just going to now stay at home all day and never see anyone? So these problems get in the way of them achieving their dream outcome, or at least they will get in the way in their minds, and you need to address them with your offer. Each of these problems have multiple components to it, which really, it gives you an infinite way to communicate value by being able to solve those problems. And whether they realize it or not, they will actually go through the 4 components of value for each of these problems in their mind. So all we do is we take this big list of problems in our offer and messaging and ads, and we flip them to show how we solve these problems with our offer. So with a dream outcome, let's just pick one of those problems that are in their way of achieving their dream outcome of losing 20 pounds and getting in shape. Grocery shopping will be one of those problems, right? And they will think this won't be worth it. It won't be worth it me going and doing all this grocery shopping, which is just a function of dream outcome. They will think it won't be worth it. I'll just stick with what I'm doing right now. So we show them how it will be worth it with the other 3 components of the value equation. Likelihood of achievement. The second thing they will think about will be around perceived likelihood of achievement. They will have excuses like, it probably wouldn't work for me specifically. I won't be able to stick with it, so what's the point? Which are all functions of likelihood of achievement. So our goal is to reverse each of these things. So how can we say things like, it will work for you specifically because it's already worked for all these people over the last 10 years, for example. You will be able to stick with it. In fact, we guarantee you'll be able to stick with it or your money back. So ask yourself, when you say it will work for them, why should they trust you? What authority do you have? And when you say they will be able to achieve the dream outcome, who are the people just like them who have already faced similar challenges and still achieved the dream outcome? And if they don't believe they will be able to achieve the dream outcome, what guarantee can you offer to ensure there is 0 perceived risk? Then we have effort and sacrifice. They will make excuses like, it's going to be too hard, too confusing, it'll take too much effort, it won't be enjoyable, and I'll be bad at it. And these are all just functions of effort and sacrifice. Your job again is to reverse all of these things. Ask yourself, how can I make it seem easy? How can I make this whole process really simple to understand? And how can I make this fun or enjoyable? And how can I make it seem like they're actually good at it? These are all things we need to address in the mind of our prospect by how we communicate it in our messaging, ads, and offer. Time delay. Finally, the last set of excuses they will have will be time-based, like, it's going to take too long for me to do this. It won't be a convenient time for me. The outcome will just take too long. So these are just, again, functions of time. So for each of those steps we listed earlier that your prospect needs to go through to achieve their dream outcome with your product or service, think about how we can break each of them down like this. And hopefully you're already thinking about ways that you're currently not solving problems that you can start to solve them, turning each of these problems into a solution, which will instantly put you above everyone else in the marketplace because you're going to solve all of these problems that no one even talks about, which will make you seem as though you understand your prospect's problems better than anyone else. So if we bring up that list of problems from earlier, grocery shopping, packing, cooking, prepping, eating, cleaning, feed the family, eating out. Each of these problems will be silent objections or problems in the prospect's mind that you can flip and solve before you even ask for the sale. And it will fit into the 4 parts of the value equation, being either too hard, too time consuming, takes too long, won't work for me, won't be sustainable, etc. So now we understand the dream outcome, what they want, perceived problems, and every intricate little tiny problem they have to go through to get the achieved outcome that they think will stop them. And now what we do is we turn those problems into solutions using the value equation so that we can communicate them in our messaging. So if we come back to the problem of grocery shopping, shopping for healthy food, which they believe will be hard, confusing, not enjoyable, and they won't be good at it. We simply flip that to be how to make buying healthy food easy and enjoyable so that literally anyone can do it, especially busy mums. Or problem number 2 is buying healthy food is too expensive. This becomes how to buy healthy food cheaper than your current grocery bill. Or problem number 3 is I won't be able to stick with it because I cook for my family or I often go out to eat. This becomes, once we flip it, how to buy healthy food for you and your family that they will love even if you're going out to eat. So you see what we did there? Now you should have a list of 3 things. We have the dream outcome, what they want, perceived problems, again, that list of everything they believe that will stop them, and now the problems turned into solutions, how our offer understands each of these problems and turns them into solutions so that we can communicate them. And it's important to note here that for most people, there will be just a handful of reasons that are stopping them from purchasing, but you won't know which one it is. So it's important that you communicate how you solve all these problems and actually go through each of these steps involved in purchasing your solution. List out all the problems associated with them. Then, using the 4 components of value, how can you reverse them and solve these problems in a way that makes your prospect feel understood? And the magic to sell anything to anyone is making sure your prospect feels understood. Because when they feel like you understand their problems, they will just automatically assume that you have the solution. So they are much more likely to buy. But we are not done yet, because now we understand their problems. The next step is how to package and deliver your solution to them. Offer component number 5, fulfilling your offer. Now, this is the part that I see barely anyone talking about when it comes to building an offer, and arguably the most important if you want to actually remain in business and ethically help people. Most people just know the 4 parts of the value equation and assume that once someone buys, the sale is over. And up until now, I've gone over how to increase the perceived value of your offer by first choosing the right market, secondly, charging what it's worth, thirdly, understanding the value equation, and then fourth, how to use the value equation to turn problems into solutions. But now, you will learn how to make your offers more valuable by changing how you deliver the offer. Because once you sell something to somebody, now what? You got to fulfill it, right? Whether that's a digital product or a software you have to download or a physical product they have to consume, you have to deliver it. So Hormozi covers 3 things when it comes to increasing the value through fulfillment. First, the sales to fulfillment continuum. Secondly, the delivery cube. And then thirdly, he likes to trim and stack for maximum value and profit. So we'll go over all 3 right now. First, the sales and fulfillment continuum. So if something is easy to sell, it tends to be hard to fulfill. And if it's hard to sell, it tends to be easy to fulfill. And there are 3 ways to think about this that you may have already heard of. Done for you, done with you, and then do it yourself. First, you have done for you, all the way on the left side of this continuum. Second, done with you, somewhere in the middle. And then third, a do-it-yourself option all the way on the right side of the continuum. So, for example, with a do-it-yourself course, maybe, something that is intangible and it tends to be harder to sell, especially at a higher price, it is easier to fulfill. You just have to give them access to the course and you're fulfilled. On the flip side, if you have a done-for-you service, like a marketing agency offer, it tends to be easy to sell because the perceived effort and sacrifice is much lower, and the likelihood the customer actually achieves the outcome is much higher, but it tends to be a lot more difficult to fulfill because you actually have to follow through and do everything for the client. So, hard to fulfill. But it doesn't just work this way for services, it also works for physical products. And a real life example of this is Elon Musk's Tesla strategy. So where he started with a $250,000 high-priced sports car that was easy to fulfill, the production was just so small so he could make them really quickly over here on the far left of the continuum. Then he introduced a $100,000 car, which was easier to sell, slightly harder to fulfill, somewhere maybe in the middle of this continuum. And finally, a $30,000 car that was much more difficult to fulfill, with the high volume and setup cost of these gigafactories that cost $10 billion. So the point here is that if you're just starting out, you should ideally be starting with your highest priced product first that is easy to fulfill. This will anchor a price in the customer's mind really high. You'll have more credibility and a higher likelihood of achievement as you work down the price ladder and introduce lower priced items further down the continuum. So a perfect example of this is a client of mine right now actually about to release a new AI software. The first few clients will be at a very high price, but I will be working with them personally and their team to plug everything in and give them the absolute best experience possible, getting them to launch and basically doing everything for them. Now, once there are a few case studies under our belt, we will move to a less involved process and make it more automated. But for now, starting with an easier to sell, harder to fulfill product is the best way to begin. Think about it like this: create flow, monetize flow, and then add friction. Make it harder to sell and easier to fulfill. So do not make the mistake of trying to create something that is easy to fulfill and scalable when you're just starting out, because unfortunately, many people won't even actually start selling the thing until it's scalable. But what are you trying to scale? You haven't made any sales yet. This thing really grinds my gears because you shouldn't be worrying about scale in the beginning. Just focus on getting clients, making money, getting product market fit, and then make it easier to fulfill later on. I'm talking to all you developers who try to create an infinitely scalable solution before you've ever even gotten one customer and proving that anyone cares about your solution. So, number 2, the delivery cube. Let's talk about how your customer will actually receive the solution. Now, this won't work if you haven't done all the exercises in the previous sections where you should have a list of the dream outcome, then all the perceived problems your prospect believes that are stopping them in their mind from achieving that dream outcome, and then how you're going to solve those problems by flipping them into solutions using the 4 parts of the value equation. So, the delivery cube. To figure out how to solve all these problems with the way you actually deliver your solutions, Alex suggests something called the delivery cube. Think about it like a singular dice with 6 sides to it, or a die. The same you'd use in a casino, except much bigger. So, if we use the example of weight loss from earlier, you'll remember one of the problems was buying healthy food is hard, confusing, expensive, time-consuming, and I won't like it. But if we chunk it down across the delivery cube, we can figure out how to solve the same problem in multiple different ways. So on the first side of the delivery cube, we've got one-on-one, small group, or one-to-many. If you're going to solve this one-on-one, you may need to take them to the store and actually show them how. You could organize a small group of 4 to 5 people that come with you so you could save time. Or you could have a live grocery store video tour where it's one-to-many and people just follow along from home. So side 2 of the delivery cube, you've got done for you, done with you, and then do it yourself. How could you solve these problems in a done for you way, where you could literally just do the shopping for them? Then ask yourself, how could you solve this problem in a done with you way? Again, you could just go with them to the store, or you could offer a video call with them while they were there. And then how could you solve this problem in a do-it-yourself way? You could provide them with grocery checklists, special calculators, stuff like that. Side number 3 of the delivery cube is level of support. Can you provide chat support, email support, live phone, or video support? Side number 4 is consumption. Next, what is the level of information consumption you have to have? Is it video? Is it audio format? Maybe it's a document they need to read, or maybe it's live, maybe it's recorded. Side number 5 of the delivery cube is speed and convenience. So, am I going to provide this level of service 24/7 or just 9 to 5, Monday to Friday? Then think through the speed of the component. How quickly will you get back to somebody? In 5 minutes or an hour? It makes a big difference. And finally, side number 6, 10x to 1/10 test. Then finally, there's something Alex calls the 10x to 1/10 test. So first, think about what you plan on charging for your product or service, but what if you had to 10x your price? What else would you want to fulfill to make it worth 10x the price and justify this massive price increase? Which will get you thinking differently about how you can add way more value through the way that you deliver your solution to the customers. And on the opposite end, ask yourself, if we force you to take your price and provide more value, but you could only charge 1/10 of what you currently are, what would you do? Which will get you thinking about how you can build tools, assets, infrastructure that you only need to build one time to be able to provide way more value. How would that change the way you structure the delivery? So, we've covered so far, first, the sales to fulfillment continuum. Then secondly, we touched on each of the 6 sides of the delivery cube, which is how you deliver the product or service. And now let's get into trimming and stacking for maximum value and profit. Because obviously we can't include every single thing we've written down. Some are just way more valuable than others. So this is how Alex suggests you trim and stack for maximum value and profit. Now you should have this huge list of delivery systems, and you want to go through it and assign a value and a cost associated with each of those items. So those solutions you have listed out, using the value equation, which ones are of high value, medium value, or low value? And then for each of those, which ones are low cost to fulfill? And then you can list next to each solution which one is low cost, medium cost, and high cost. Then you should have a list of solutions with both the value and the cost. Now you will start to see some which are high value, low cost, and perfect. Those are the exact solutions that you want to include in your offer. The ones that are high value, low cost. But there are low value, high cost ones that we want to exclude completely. The medium value, high cost ones we can also exclude, but there may be some that are high value but with like a medium cost, and high cost with a high value. And we want to keep those and consider them for later on. But for now, what we want to do is remove completely anything that is not high value. Alex suggests you typically shouldn't have more than 1 or 2 high cost, high value delivery items for your set of problems. So what you want to also do is to try to make the low to medium cost solutions solve as many problems as possible and save the 1 to 2 high cost things to be like the heaviest hitting. So back to the weight loss example, would a one-on-one tour be of high value? Yeah, absolutely, but it's high cost. It takes a lot of your time. Could you solve it in a cheaper way that would provide almost the same value? Like maybe you could have 2 quick check-ins within the first few weeks to ensure that they're on the right track. Or you could hire a coach and assign it to them to keep them accountable and checks in with them maybe a few times a week. Or you could pair them up with a buddy system to have a similar result. Always be thinking, do you think the value outweighs the cost? And start slashing out things that just don't measure up. So this should be how you think through all these delivery items when creating the high value offer stack, which will be part of the core offer and how we will deliver that to our prospects. And last thing to note on the fulfillment side, if it's a service, a good rule of thumb here is that you should be able to fulfill that solution with 80% gross margins. So if you sell something that's $100, it should cost you no more than $20 to fulfill, because you will have other costs associated with delivering that thing. Okay, so back to what we were talking about before, it should look like this. Problem number 1, maybe it's buying groceries is perceived as hard, confusing, time consuming, right? So thing 1 to solve that is high value, low cost. Thing 2 to solve that is high value, low cost. And thing 3 to solve that is high value, high cost. Now, problem number 2 might be cooking food is time consuming and hard. So the thing 1 to solve that problem is high value, high cost. The second thing to solve that is high value, low cost. And the last thing is high value, low cost as well. Problem number 3 is eating the food won't be enjoyable. So thing 1 is high value, medium cost. Thing 2 might be high value, low cost. And thing 3 is high value, low cost. So I know that's a lot of stuff to take in, so maybe here are some examples that are low cost. These could be recordings, tools, swipe files, PDFs, videos. Medium cost things could be things like group sessions, live video tours, weekly check-ins, and high cost things would be one-on-one calls, personal audits, or someone actually going to your house to redo your pantry, and personalized grocery tours. Okay, so that is the second part of creating a Grand Slam offer, which is how you increase the perceived value through delivery mechanisms. So quick, let's have a recap. First, we were introduced to the value equation. We understood the dream outcome of our prospect, what they wanted. Then we listed all the problems in their minds stopping them from achieving this. Then we turned all of those problems into solutions using the value equation. Then we learned about the sales to fulfillment continuum. And with the sales to fulfillment continuum, we understand that we want to provide lots of value to a small group of people for a high price. First, to find out more about how they use the solution, which makes it easier to fulfill. And delivery. Now we know how to deliver it all and package it all using the delivery cube to provide different solutions to those problems in multiple different ways to increase the perceived value that go from low cost to medium cost to high cost. Then we learned to trim and stack those solutions and figure out which ones are more valuable than others and which ones are cheaper for us in both time and money to fulfill. But now you have your core offer and how you deliver it. That's only about half the equation, because just like an infomercial that prints cash, you need to include bonuses in your offer. And oftentimes these are actually the things that push people over the line to buy your core offer more than the core offer themselves. So you should never skip bonuses. Luckily for you, that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. Offer component number 6, bonuses. Do me a favor and watch this quick, famous infomercial.
Hey, look, so you want a little bit of onions? You don't want to drag out the food processor? When you buy the slap chop, we're going to give you the gravy for cheese. And watch this, tacos, fettuccine. The slap chop sells for $19.95, but if you call now, within the next 20 minutes, because you know we can't do this all day, you're going to get the gravy absolutely free.
This infomercial alone sold 100,000 units of the slap chop and generated more than $7 million in revenue for its founder. Infomercials like the slap chop example are notorious for offering crazy bonuses. Why? Because if I said that you can get the slap chop and the gravy for $19.95, it would be perceived as less valuable than if I said you can get one slap chop for $19.95 and the gravy for free. This is because of human psychology. Let me explain. There are two anchors that occur when you make any type of offer: a price anchor and a value anchor. So think about it. In their mind, they were justifying the price relative to the thing we were just presenting to them with the first offer. And often when you start stacking all these extra bonuses on top of the core offer, it dramatically increases the perceived value they're getting in the mind of the prospect. It literally happened to me the other day. I found a nice pair of Oliver People's glasses that I liked, brought them to the counter, and the guy tells me, actually, there's a 20% discount store-wide. The amount of value that I was getting, or that I perceived that I was getting, shot up like a rocket because I was ready to pay here, and then he told me that I only needed to pay here. Plus, they look pretty cool too. So now I'm going to show you what the $100 million man himself suggests when it comes to coming up with bonuses for your core offer. And if you're sitting there thinking, oh man, I already struggled to come up with my core offer, now I have to think about bonuses or other products I have to deliver. Well, not necessarily, because even if all you do is take your core offer and break it into its component parts, you can present them as bonuses to your main thing. So it may look the same, but it's perceived entirely differently. Now, they think I was getting one thing, but now, once you've broken it up, I'm getting 5 things. And 5 things is more than one thing, therefore more valuable. As a real life example with one of my clients that absolutely crushed it, to give you some context, It's a super powerful video animation software made for business owners that can do a lot of things. You could create 3D videos, 2D videos, animated text videos, promotional videos, etc. And it was converting okay, but they could never scale it past a certain point without the CAC, the cost to acquire a customer, increasing beyond being profitable. But by far the standout feature was their 3D character video feature. So what I did was reframe their offer in the ads and sales funnel to sell just the 3D video feature and presented the other features as bonuses. So in the mind of the consumer, they were thinking that the price that they had been given was already justified by the value they were getting from the 3D stuff, but now they're also getting all these other features as well. And what do you know? This new reframing of the offer absolutely crushed it for them. In conjunction with a complete rebuild of the funnel, it 4x'd their revenue and helped them profitably scale. And the ad that I wrote with this new offer was one of the best performing ads on YouTube earlier this year, with more than 17 million views and counting. You may have even seen my beautiful face on the thumbnail for yourself. How to create your bonuses, 15 tactics. What we want to do is use all the valuable deliverables we came up with in the previous component, from the trimming and the stacking, and present the best ones all at once as bonuses on top of your core offer. And here are Alex Hormozi's 15 best practices to creating bonuses that print cash for you. Number 1, always offer bonuses. Number 2, give them a special name that has a benefit in the title. Number 3, tell them how it relates to the problem that they have, what it is, how you discovered it, and what you had to do to create it. Plus, how it will specifically improve their lives or make the experience either faster, easier, or better. Number 4, provide social proof to prove that the thing is, in fact, valuable. Number 5, future pace them and paint a vivid image of the heaven that they will experience, assuming they have already used it and experienced all of the benefits. Number 6, always add a price tag and make sure you can justify it. Number 7, tools and checklists are better than just more training because the effort and sacrifice is much lower. Number 8, the bonuses should address a specific concern or blockers in their minds as to why they won't be able to achieve the dream outcome. This will be easy if you've written down every single little intricate step your prospect needs to, in order to have success with your thing, like we did in the previous components. Number 9, a bonus can be something they would logically need next. Or in other words, what's the next problem that they might face after your thing solves their current problem? And number 10, this is an important one. The value of all the bonuses should exceed the value of the core thing, as it subtly communicates that the core thing's value must be more valuable than they realize. Number 11, anything that you can invest in once that obviously costs you either a lot of time or money to produce, but you can give away infinitely, works great. So things like checklists, tools, swipe files, scripts, templates, stuff like that. Number 12, record every single workshop, event, interview you run and use them as additional bonuses that you can offer. Number 13, instead of confusing your prospect with a bunch of extra stuff in your core offer, if you strip out some of the smaller value and offer that as free bonuses, it will be perceived as more valuable, like the slap chop example and like my client's example with the 3D animation software. And number 14, you can add even more value to your bonuses by adding either scarcity and urgency or both. For example, you could say that this bonus is only available to the next 100 people, or this bonus is only available for the next 48 hours and then it's gone. And number 15, finally, you can make a guarantee itself a bonus. For example, if you decide to move forward today, I will give you a 7-day money-back guarantee, which I usually do not offer. Okay, so using these best practices as your guiding principles to create your bonus stack, here's exactly what I want you to do. take the most compelling items from your solutions list where we reverse the problems your customer faces along the way in achieving their dream outcome. And what you want to do is pick 5 to 7 and turn those 5 to 7 items into bonuses to stack on top of your core offer at the end of your sales presentations. This will dramatically increase the perceived value of not only your core offer, but the total offer in general. And it'll get more people to buy quicker at a higher price, which equals more profits. Advanced bonuses. How you leverage other people's businesses. So if you're a true pro and you want some advanced techniques, Hormozi breaks down how to use other people's stuff as bonuses, which you don't have to build, you don't have to maintain, and you don't have to fulfill. You just package it in with your stuff and you get paid for doing so. Hormozi calls this the ultimate win-win-win scenario. Because just imagine for a second, you're a physical therapist with an injury rehab package and you bundle that together with, let's say, a free massage service to a massage parlor down the street. You give a bunch of discounts to things they need to buy for injury rehab. Or you have a discount to a supplement company that you have a partnership with. Just imagine how powerful this is when you can say that the savings alone on the stuff that you were gonna buy anyway are worth the price of the core package. But through you, they're getting the stuff they were gonna buy anyway for free or at a massive discount. How can anyone compete with that offer? So you win as a therapist because you close more people at a higher price. The customer wins because they get savings on things they were going to buy anyway. And the other business wins because you send them more customers that they don't have to pay for. In other words, win, win, win. All right, so let me break it down. There are 4 levels to advanced bonuses. Other people's products is number 1. Like, we recommend these supplements with your weight loss program. Number 2 is other people's products with a pre-negotiated discount or free period. Like, we negotiated this special discount on these supplements we recommend taking with your weight loss program. Number 3, other people's products with a pre-negotiated discount or free period plus affiliate commission. So it's like, hey, we negotiated this special discount on these supplements that we recommend for your weight loss program, and then we also get paid for each customer that we send them. And then number 4, which is the holy grail, other people's products with a pre-negotiated discount or free period and exclusive features plus affiliate commission. So what that looks like is we've negotiated this special discount on these exclusive supplements that we recommend for you to take with your weight loss program. They made it just for us and it's only available through us, and we also get paid for each customer that we send them. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. List all the businesses that your customer might go to that you don't directly compete with, and then list out all the things they might be willing to give away for free in exchange for you bringing them a new customer. Once that's done, you're going to want to approach these businesses and come up with an agreement, or even just a small sample size test to show that you can deliver on your promise. And this is how you build enormous goodwill, because you win by closing more prospects with more compelling bonuses that are exclusively available through you, that you don't need to fulfill, that cost you nothing and you don't need to support on. Your customer wins because they get a great deal on stuff they would have bought anyway, and the other business wins because they get to acquire a new customer for free. In other words, win, win, win. Offer component number 7, guarantees. What's the single biggest objection to selling any product or service? Risk. So reversing this risk is an instant way to make your offer more attractive and valuable. And we do that with a killer guarantee, but not something as pedestrian as a 30-day money-back guarantee. You need to define what you'll do if they don't get the result. Without this, the or what portion of the guarantee, it falls flat. So here's a bad example. We will get you 20 new clients guaranteed. Here's a better example. We will get you 20 new clients in your first 30 days, or we will give you your money back, as well as your ad spend. Your prospect thinks, well, I guess I have nothing to lose, right? Let's give it a go. which is why a great guarantee can 2 to 4x your conversions. So always, always, always reverse risk with a guarantee. Now, Alex shares that all guarantees fit into one of 4 categories. And I'll give you examples of each so you can get some inspiration for ways that you can formulate your own guarantee. These 4 categories are: first, unconditional guarantees; second, conditional guarantees; third, the anti-guarantee; fourth, implied guarantees. So, number 1, unconditional guarantees. Let's first unpack one of the most common guarantees, unconditional guarantee. A for any reason, no questions asked type of guarantee. Think 30-day money-back satisfaction guarantee. Now, I'm not a big fan of this, like I mentioned, because they're so easy to say that everyone has done them and it's lost its impact. So if you choose this, it needs to be done differently. And a really perfect example of this that Hormozi shares is one from a guy called Jason Flatley that he gave at the end of a webinar pitch. Jason says, "I'm not asking you to say yes or no today. I'm only asking you to make a fully informed decision. And the only way that you can do that is from the inside. Check out everything for yourself, see if all this stuff works," which is the same reason why you don't buy a car without first taking it for a test drive, right? And if you decide to keep it, then great. And if it isn't for you, then no hard feelings. But you can get all of your money back. Doesn't matter if it's in 20 minutes from now or 20 days from now. I don't want your money if you are not 100% happy. And if you pitch your generic 30-day money-back guarantee like this, it is so much more powerful. Because at the end of the day, it's just a maths equation. There are people looking at your product or service right now who are on the fence, and if you just removed the risk with a guarantee, you would push them over and they would buy. But by offering a guarantee like this, you are actually going to also open yourself up to people who will refund. So the question is only, are the people who buy because of the guarantee going to be more than the people who refund? And 99 times out of 100, the answer is a resounding yes. Now, Alex suggests you will make an extra 20 to 30% extra revenue just by offering a guarantee like this, assuming that your product is what you say it is, of course, and you don't just end up with a whole bunch of refunds. Secondly, conditional guarantees. So let's talk about conditional guarantees. If you don't achieve X in Y time, we will Z. These have terms and conditions that you need to meet in order to qualify for the guarantee, which can be some of the most powerful because it implies that your steps are more or less foolproof. So, for example, one of the most famous and the best guarantees in the world actually follow this structure, and you probably have heard of it. Domino's Pizza. Their guarantee is pizza delivered to your door in under 30 minutes or it's free. Some other examples could be outsized refunds. If you go through all the steps and do all the actions and you don't get the results, we will refund you 3 times the cost of the thing. So the secret here is to try and formulate the conditions around the things you have seen get results for other people. So you're almost like forcing them to become successful. Then we have a service guarantee. Another great example of a conditional guarantee is this service guarantee, which is very popular with agencies. And it's like, if you don't achieve XYZ outcome, I'll work with you for free till you do, as long as you XYZ. Then there's the hidden costs guarantee. We will refund you the cost of the thing as well as the other things you had to spend money on to do the thing as well, like hotels, airfare, etc. Jason Flatley, again, had a guarantee like this for his Facebook ads course, saying if you go through the whole course, you do all the steps and you don't get the results, not only would he refund you the cost of the program, he'd refund you the cost of your Facebook ad spend as well. Then there is the delayed second payment. Postpone the second payment until they achieve the first milestone or activation point that you have seen other people get success from achieving. So, if you don't lose your first £5 by this date, don't pay for the next month until you do, stuff like that. And then third bucket of guarantees on the list of 4 is the anti-guarantee. Think, all sales are final, which in itself is actually a guarantee where you have to explain why there is no guarantee, because it signals that your stuff is so valuable that once you see it, you just can't unsee it. which can enhance the value of the thing like it's some top secret formula. And as well, you can try to exclude the tire kickers and the fence sitters with this by implying that you just don't want to deal with people who aren't 100% all in and sold out. And the last type of guarantee, number 4, is implied guarantees. Implied guarantees are performance or value based. There are 3 common ways that you can do this. And if you're really as good as you say you are, and you're a real true winner, then most of the time you want to do these guarantees based on value. If you get a percentage of performance, then the implied guarantee is that you will get them a return. So there is an uncapped upside. Because depending on how you structure the guarantee, it could be completely performance based. Now you could do this either with a unit, like only pay us X dollars for this amount of leads, or only pay us X dollars per pound lost. And another one, which is my personal favorite, is a revenue share percentage of performance. So this is the business model that I typically gravitate towards because I believe this is the best way to run an agency where you are incentivized to work 100% in their business because you have percentage of the growth, instead of just acquiring new customers that end up churning after a few months, right? And the difference here is that instead of it being based on units, you create the guarantee based on percent. So they're very similar, but there's some nuance. So it could be 10% of top line revenue, 30% of revenue growth from baseline, and then finally, just a straight up profit share percentage of performance. So really simple, just X% of profit or X% of gross profit. So all of these are super powerful because you remove all of the risk from the customer and you incur all the risk, but you get to share in unlimited upside. And trust me, you work way harder when you have this option. Stacking guarantees. Now, a pro tip you can actually do here is to stack a few or all of these guarantees into your offer. So you can say things like, you can use an unconditional guarantee, which is over a short duration, and you can say, hey, I'm not asking you to make a decision today, just check it out from the inside, and if you don't fall in love with it within 30 days, you can get your money back, no questions asked. And then stack a conditional guarantee on top of that, which is over a longer duration. Plus, if within 90 days you don't have at least 100 sales, I will work for free until I get you that result. And after 6 months, you still don't have that result, then I'll give you all of your money back, provided that you have completed all the exercises we prescribed and attended all the workshops, as an example. And you need to make sure to make those conditions or those terms around things that have been proven to get success for customers in the past, which will force them into winning. So on top of this, what this does is it gets your prospects to start thinking about long-term success as well as short-term success. And this future paces themselves. So they know not to just expect results in 3 days, but to give it maybe 90 days, 180 days. And you'll find that those customers are always the better customers, as well as the easier ones to deliver for, that have a higher lifetime value and churn or leave far less. Naming your guarantees. So now you have a killer guarantee that removes risk and makes people want to throw money at you. Please do not call it a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. It'll just get lost in a sea of sameness and lumps you in with all the infomercial products and scammy drop shipping products online. You want to come up with a cool sounding, memorable name that uses creative imagery. So as an example, instead of a 30-day money back guarantee, boring, you could try, if you wouldn't jump into shark infested waters to get our product back, then get every dollar you paid back. Or Hormozi mentions that one of his favorite guarantees to give was our famous Club a Baby Seal guarantee, where after 30 days of using our service, if you wouldn't club a baby seal to stay on as a customer, then get every penny back. Now, it might sound silly, but I bet you'll go away from this video and still remember the visual imagery of clubbing a baby seal. And that's the point. So will your prospects. So, always have a guarantee. It can reverse risk and 4x your conversions, making it one of the biggest components of value that makes your offer so good, people would feel stupid saying no. Offer component number 8, scarcity and urgency. And ultimately, this is how we get people to make a faster decision. So if you have a longer extended sales cycle like they do in B2B sales, for example, this will be crucial for you to decrease that window. So a lot of people confuse the two. And while scarcity and urgency are similar, scarcity is a function of units. Like there are only X spots left or Y time slots available, while urgency is a unit of time, like deal ends tomorrow at midnight. So let's break them down and explain both of them. First, we have scarcity. So scarcity comes down to a limited number of seats or units, a limited supply of bonuses, or a never available again or one of a kind offer. So first, let's talk about unit scarcity, which is a limited number of units or seats available. Now, you might only have X amount of your thing at a given price, and then once those are gone, they're gone, right? Or you might have a limited capacity to take on new clients, and you can only take on, let's say, one more client. And side note, if you actually have built-in limited capacity, tell people about these limits. It'll create scarcity and increase the value of your offer. It also subtly hints at social proof as well, adding subconscious layers of value to your offer. Second type of scarcity is bonus scarcity. So another thing you can limit are the number of bonuses available if someone makes a purchase. So you may have a physical limit amount of a thing you're giving, or you could choose a number of that thing to limit it to, if your product or service is digital, for example. This is especially powerful if the bonus thing you're adding scarcity to is a physical thing. It's just easier for people to wrap their brains around a finite amount of a physical thing being a real constraint as a bonus. The number 3 type of scarcity is the never available again scarcity. So the final way of having scarcity is by never offering that thing ever again, or having it be a one-of-a-kind thing. And this is really popular with apparel brands. They have a drop where they only release 100 units of a design and then never again. And they're often also limited by a timeline or urgency. So you can start stacking these things as well, and it really reduces that buying window down. And ultimately, scarcity just comes down to supply and demand, which is one of the most powerful forces in all of buying. So think about it like all you're doing is purposely limiting supply, or at the very least, communicating the limits that already exist to increase sales. And this isn't a one-time thing you do either. This is something that you can do on a moving scale. So, for example, Rolex watches have gone mental with secondhand watches selling for something like 2 times the retail on the gray market. Why? Because Rolex purposely limits the supply. When the demand increases, cut supply. Look at high-end brands like Louis Vuitton. It's another masterclass at manipulating supply and demand and introducing scarcity. They will often only send a store 1 or 2 pieces of an item, creating this genuine scarcity around every single item. Add to this the high demand with their slick ads and influencer social proof, and it's no wonder you have lines out the door at every single store. So that's scarcity. Now let's talk about urgency. There are only 4 ways to create urgency with your offer. The first way is to create urgency around a group of clients. The second way is to create urgency around a season that you're in, like spring, summer, fall. The third is urgency based around your pricing or bonuses. And finally, urgency around the opportunity itself. So, number 1, group urgency. The first way to create urgency is around a group. So let's say that we have a group of rolling cohorts, like the next group that can be part of this thing starts on Monday. So you don't want to miss that, right? Let's make a decision and get you started and signed up so you don't miss that starting Monday. Or you could say that you can only take on 1 more client this month, so they better snap up that last spot or it'll be gone until the next month. And look guys, you don't need to make these up. Hormozi suggests you just need to look at what you're already capable of doing and let people know. Because if you had a magic pipeline that brought you 1,000 new customers tomorrow, could you handle them all? Probably not, right? So what is your physical limited capacity? build that into your offer, and this will create urgency and scarcity. Number 2 is seasonal urgency. So the next part is rolling seasonal urgency, where you're saying this promotion is ending in 3 days, or our summer discount is only on for the next 2 weeks. Now, you might start a new promotion that is similar next month, but as long as the naming is different, it's still ethical to add this type of urgency. Number 3 is pricing and bonus urgency. So you could say that these bonuses are only available for the next few days and then they're gone for good. And people won't have access to certain valuable things unless they make a decision right now. So you can change the flavor of your promotion based on the bonuses, but also on the pricing. And say things like, this special $19 offer ends on Friday. Remember, they can all feed into the same business model, but as long as they appear different to your prospect, you will still have success with just changing the wrapping paper. And number 4 is exploding opportunity urgency. So this is where you have a real reason why the opportunity is disappearing. If you have an opportunity that decreases in value over time, just let people know. Okay, so that's how you build scarcity and urgency into your offer. Component number 9, naming your offer. A reason your offer may not be making money is because people do not know that it's for them or understand what problem it actually solves, which is actually the number 1 problem that I see in the SaaS space personally. It's because it's named poorly. Now you have a Grand Slam offer, you need to name it. Otherwise, how will your prospects know that your offer is for them? Most people skip over this section, but I urge you, please do not spend the time on your offer and then slap together some terrible, forgettable name right at the very end. You are so close to creating a Grand Slam offer that would make people feel stupid saying no. Don't miss the last piece of the puzzle right now. The good news is that Alex gives us a really simple framework to follow, just like all his principles, called the magic naming formula. So the magic naming formula. This is how you name your offer so it lets your prospect know that it's for them, that it can solve their problem, and thirdly, it'll solve their problem the way they want it solved. And MAGIC is an acronym, M-A-G-I-C, which stands for M, magnet. Make a magnetic reason. So give the people a reason why you're making the offer. A, announce the avatar. So try to call out who the offer is for. G stands for goal. Give them a goal or future pace them with a result that they will achieve. I stands for interval. Indicate a time interval. So tell them how long it'll take them to achieve the goal. And finally, C, which stands for container. Complete your offer with a container word or wrap the offer name up nicely with a word like makeover, blueprint, challenge. Alex mentions here that you don't have to name everything this way or even have all 5 in your name, but you should aim to have as many in the headline as you possibly can. And here are a few examples that Alex shares. So if you're in the wellness space, you could have an offer called your free 6-week lean by Halloween challenge, or 88% off 12-week bikini blueprint, or free 21-day mummy makeover, or 60-minute make your friends jealous model hairstyle system, or 6-week stress release challenge, or free bend over pain-free in 48 days healing fast track. And if you're a coach, you could call it something like 5 clients in 5 days blueprint, or 7-figure agency 12-week intensive, or something like 14-day find your perfect product launch, or fill your gym in 30 days for free. Now, pro tip, with the I in the formula, stands for time interval. The core offer can be denoted in days, weeks, or months, but if you're using this to name your bonuses, think about calling out the time intervals in terms of seconds, minutes, and hours. So let's say you have your core thing and it's a 6-month transformation, for example. Then think about the bonuses as mini transformations that all lead up to the main transformation. Therefore, they could be communicated in seconds, minutes, and hours. And because time is such a key part of providing value, it needs to be communicated in the naming of our offers and our bonuses. So that's how you can use this simple framework, MAGIC or magic, to think about naming your offers and take it into the market and start crushing it. Because remember, unless people actually know what the product is and that it's for them and that it'll solve the problem that they have the way they want it solved, they will never buy from you. So do not skip this step, please. Okay, so that was a long one, guys, but we made it here together in the end. You can hop around and come back to this video whenever you need to create a new offer or upgrade or refresh your existing offer. I would suggest that you go back to pieces and pause the video and actually do the exercises that I talk about. They will be so helpful in creating and defining your offer. Because remember, creating a Grand Slam offer will be the biggest needle mover for you in your business. No matter what you sell, you can literally get everything else wrong, but as long as you're speaking to a starving crowd and you have an irresistible offer to put in front of them, you'll be able to sell it like crazy. Even if you have terribly poor marketing and terrible persuasion skills. Okay, so to recap, today we went over first how to find the right markets and sell to better clients. Secondly, how to charge premium pricing for maximum profits and charge what it's worth. Third, how to deconstruct value and what the 4 pillars of the value equation actually look like. Then we figured out the problems your market has and how to solve those problems in the most compelling way possible by flipping them into solutions. Then how to provide those solutions in delivery vehicles that are high margin with the delivery cube. And then how to add in bonuses to inflate the perceived value and get people to happily hand over their credit card and their money. Then how to remove hesitancy and build trust with conditional and unconditional guarantees. And then how to stack all of these types of guarantees on top of each other. And then how to ethically use scarcity and urgency to get people to buy your thing faster and decrease that buying cycle. Remember, this will be really important if you're in the B2B space. And then finally, how to wrap your offer in a pretty bow and name it something people will remember so that they know it's for them. And then it solves the problem that they have in the way they want their problem solved. And all of this comes together to create a Grand Slam offer that will make you richer than anything else you could possibly do in your business. So congratulations, guys. Make sure to share this with anyone who runs a business or is looking to create an offer, because this video literally took me months to make, and like I say, over 120 hours. Now, if you want my help with creating any of your own Grand Slam offers, just leave me a comment below. I'll be helping as many people as I can and answering as many questions as I can. Or if you want one-on-one support, feel free to reach out through email. I left that down below as well. And shout out to Alex Hormozi for making all this content available online. I hope you enjoyed me simplifying it and putting it all into one video for you guys to follow along to. Make sure you subscribe for more videos like this going over sales and marketing principles that help you make more money. And I'll see you guys in the next video.